The unexpected encounter. The stars shone bright in the black sky as the human spaceship Valor flew slowly above the strange alien planet. Captain James Carter sat in his chair, looking at the planet below. It was a place no one knew well. The crew was on a routine patrol, but something felt different today. The planet looked calm, but the silence made James uneasy. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. "Captain, something crashed on the surface," said Lieutenant Maya, watching her screen closely. "It looks like a small ship. The signal is weak, but I can tell there's a life form." James's heart beat faster. "Prepare a team. We're going down." Minutes later, a small shuttle landed near the crash site. The air was cold and quiet. The team moved carefully through the broken trees and strange plants. Smoke rose from the wreck of a small, sleek ship. It was not human. Its design was elegant. But broken. Suddenly, a weak voice came from behind the wreck. The team stopped. They saw a figure lying on the ground. She was an alien. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes were large and glowing softly. She wore a thin, silver dress torn in many places. Her long hair was dark and messy. She looked hurt and very tired. That one of the soldiers moved closer. She lifted her head slowly and looked at them with wide, scared eyes. "Please, don't kill me," the alien whispered, her voice trembling. I'll warm your nights. Please." Captain James stepped forward, his gun ready but his hands steady. The alien princess was on her knees, begging with tears in her eyes. "Who are you?" James asked, lowering his gun a little. "My name is Lyria," she said softly. "I am a princess from the planet Sephora. My people, they are gone now, destroyed by the cruel ones." The crew looked confused. No one had heard of Sephora before. The story seemed strange. "Why should we trust you?" Lieutenant Maya asked. "You could be a spy." Lyria looked desperate. "Please, I am not your enemy. If you spare me, I can help you. The cruel ones want to destroy all life in this part of space. They will come for you too." The sky suddenly grew dark. A warning flashed on the ship's screens. "Captain, enemy ships detected. They are coming fast." The pilot shouted. James turned to Lyria. "Is this true? Do you know about these ships?" Lyria nodded weakly. "Yes, they hunt me because I know their secrets. If you want to survive, you must help me." James looked at his team. They were ready to fight or run, but running might not save them. "All right," James said firmly. "We will take you with us. But if you betray us, you die." Lyria's eyes shone with hope. "Thank you, human. I promise I will not fail you." The team quickly carried Lyria back to the shuttle. The engines roared as they took off, leaving the burning wreck behind. Inside the Valor, Lyria lay on a medical bed. The ship's doctor checked her wounds. "Your injuries are serious," the doctor said, "but you will live." Lyria closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you." James watched her carefully. There was something strange about this alien princess. She was weak, but her words held power. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. "Enemy ships are attacking." The pilot yelled. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. James stood up. "Battle stations, prepare to defend the ship." The crew rushed to their positions. The sound of lasers and explosions filled the air. Lyria opened her eyes and looked at James. "Trust me," she said quietly. James didn't understand what she meant, but he had no choice. The battle had begun. A fragile alliance. The alarms blared loudly through the corridors of the Valor. The enemy fleet was closing fast. Outside the thick glass windows, dark shapes of alien warships cut through space like hunters chasing prey. Captain James Carter stood on the bridge, eyes sharp, heart steady. Beside him, Lieutenant Maya worked the controls, her fingers flying. Over the buttons. Enemy ships are locking weapons, Maya said, voice tense. We don't have much time. James looked to the medical bay, where Princess Lyria lay resting. Despite her fragile state, her presence on the ship had changed everything. The crew was divided. Some saw her as a dangerous prisoner. Others felt she might be their only chance. James knew they needed her, but trusting an alien, especially one who begged for her life just hours ago, was risky. He made his decision. Bring her to the bridge. Moments later, Lyria entered the room, supported by 2 soldiers. Her pale blue skin glowed faintly under the bridge's lights. She moved slowly, but with a quiet strength. James studied her carefully. Tell us what you know. How do we fight these cruel ones? Lyria's eyes flickered with pain, but also determination. The cruel ones are cruel indeed. Their weapons are powerful, but their greatest weakness is their fear of warmth. Real warmth. The crew exchanged confused looks. What do you mean? Maya asked. Lyria took a deep breath. My people have a gift, the power to create warmth and light, even in the coldest places. When I focus this power, it heals wounds and weakens enemies. James raised an eyebrow. You expect us to believe a princess can fight with heat? I do not ask you to believe blindly, Lyria said. But if you spare me, I will show. You. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the ship. The enemy had fired a missile. The Valor rocked violently, and sparks flew from the control panels. James grabbed a handrail to steady himself. Everyone, brace for impact. The ship's shields flared, holding the blast. But the attack was only the beginning. Captain. Enemy boarding pods detected. The security officer shouted. James's blood ran cold. Boarding pods meant close combat, deadly and brutal. He turned back to Lyria. Can you help us now? Lyria nodded. Yes, but I need time to recover. We don't have time, James said firmly. If they board, we all die. Lyria looked at the crew. Then I must act. She stood slowly, her eyes glowing brighter. The temperature in the room rose slightly, warmth spreading like a soft fire. The soldiers around her looked surprised. Even James felt a strange heat surround him, calming his fears. Lyria raised her hands. A golden light pulsed from her palms, filling the bridge with warmth. The glowing light pushed back the cold shadows creeping from the hull. Suddenly, alarms stopped. The boarding pods exploded before they could reach the ship. The crew gasped. James looked at Lyria with new respect. You really do have a power. Lyria smiled weakly. It is a gift. And a curse, James nodded. We will fight together. But one wrong move and it's over. Lyria's eyes hardened. I understand. I will not fail. As the enemy fleet closed in, the fragile alliance between humans and alien princess held. Strong, but in the darkness of space, danger waited for the smallest mistake. Asterisk. Secrets and strength days passed aboard the Valor. The crew worked hard to repair the ships, damage while staying alert for enemy attacks. Captain James watched Princess Lyria closely. Her strange power to create warmth amazed everyone, but questions lingered in his mind. One evening, James found Lyria alone in the ship's small garden, a rare place filled with green plants and soft light. She looked peaceful, but sadness touched her eyes. Why did your kingdom fall? James asked gently. Lyria sighed. The cruel ones attacked without mercy. They destroyed my home, my family, and my people. I was lucky to escape. James nodded, feeling the weight of her loss. You survived alone, and now you're here with us. Lyria smiled faintly. I am not just a survivor. I am the last hope for Zephyra. Suddenly, an alert sounded. Maya rushed in, her face pale. Captain, there's a problem. We detected a spy on the ship. James's eyes narrowed. Who? We don't know yet. But the sensors picked up hidden signals from a crew member's quarters. James felt a chill, despite Lyria's warmth nearby. Find the spy before it's too late. The crew searched quickly. In the darkness, the spy moved silently, sending messages to the enemy fleet. Meanwhile, Lyria sat quietly in her room, her hands glowing softly as she healed her wounds. But the pain inside her was more than physical. She whispered, I cannot fail them. At that moment, the spy tried to sabotage the ship's weapons. Explosions rocked the corridors. The crew rushed to fight the fire. James led a team to catch the saboteur. They found one of the engineers trying to escape through a hidden door. Stop. You're under arrest. James commanded. The engineer smirked. You think you can trust that alien princess? She's a spy. James hesitated. Is this true? Lyria? Lyria's eyes flashed with anger. No, I am here to help you. James had to decide. Was Lyria truthful? Or was the spy right? Suddenly, the ship shook again. Enemy fighters attacked fiercely. Lyria stood in the middle of the bridge. Her warmth glowed stronger than ever. She reached out and touched a wounded soldier. His pain vanished, and strength returned to his limbs. The crew gasped in awe. James saw the truth in her eyes. She was not a traitor, but a protector. We fight together, James said firmly. No more doubts. The alliance grew stronger. But the enemy's threat was closer than ever. The enemy within Valor moved through the darkness of space. But danger lurked inside the ship's very walls. Despite the team's efforts, the enemy spy had left a hidden trap of sabotage that could destroy everything. Captain James paced the bridge, his mind racing. The weapon system was offline, and the ship's shields flickered weakly. Lieutenant Maya, how long until repairs? James asked urgently. Not long, but we need more time. The sabotage was complex, she replied, wiping sweat from her brow. Suddenly, a chilling alarm sounded. The ship shook violently. Smoke filled the corridors. Fire in the engine room. The security officer shouted. James grabbed his comb. All hands, brace for damage control. I'm going to check the engine room. The captain and a small team rushed down the twisting hallways, dodging sparks and debris. When they arrived, flames danced dangerously close to the fuel lines. James saw a shadow moving fast through the smoke. Stop right there, he yelled. The figure turned. It was the engineer, the spy. With a cruel smile, the spy pulled a strange device from their belt. You can't stop us. The enemy will win. Before James could react, the device activated, sending a burst of energy toward the fuel lines. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room. Lyria appeared, her hands glowing fiercely. She stepped between the spy and the flames. Enough, she said calmly. The energy from her hands spread like warm fire, cutting through the smoke. The flames died down, and the spy staggered back. Blinded. James seized the moment and tackled the spy to the ground. The engineer was caught. Lyria turned to James, breathing hard. I saved the ship, but it cost me energy. James nodded. You saved us all. The crew repaired the damage quickly, but the danger was far from over. That night, James found a secret message in Lyria's room. It was from her lost kingdom. The message warned of a weapon hidden deep in the cruel one's fleet, a weapon so powerful it could destroy whole worlds. James looked out the window, thinking the battle was only beginning. The final battle. The stars blinked cold and distant as the Valor prepared for its hardest fight. The enemy fleet, vast and merciless, surrounded them like a dark storm ready to crash. Captain James stood tall on the bridge, his gaze steady but his heart pounding. Beside him, Princess Lyria's blue skin seemed to glow with a fierce light. Though weak from recent battles, she stood strong, her warmth a beacon in the cold void. "Captain," Lieutenant Maya said, "the enemy has deployed their secret weapon. It's a massive energy cannon. If it fires, our ship will be destroyed." James clenched his fists. "We have no choice. We must stop it before it fires." Lyria stepped forward. "My power can help. I can heal your crew and weaken their weapon, but it will take everything I have." James nodded without hesitation. "Do it." As the enemy ship charged its weapon, Lyria raised her hands. Golden light spread like wildfire through the Valor, filling every corridor and every heart. Wounded soldiers felt strength return. The cold fear that had gripped the crew melted away. Outside, the enemy's weapon glowed brighter, but then faltered. Lyria's warmth reached it, breaking its charge. Suddenly, the enemy fleet launched a full attack. Lasers cut through space, explosions shook the ship, and alarms screamed. James shouted, "Hold the line! Protect Lyria at all costs!" Lyria's light pulsed fiercely, shielding the crew and striking back at the enemy ships. But each moment drained her. Just when hope seemed to slip away, Lyria's eyes met James's. "I must make a choice," she whispered. Before anyone could stop her, she pushed her hands forward. A wave of warmth burst out, brighter and stronger than ever. The enemy fleet shuddered and began to break apart, but the power left Lyria weak and collapsing. James caught her before she fell. "You saved us," he said softly. Lyria smiled faintly. It was worth it. The battle was won. The enemy was defeated, but the cost was clear. Asterisk a new dawn. The battle was over. Silence returned to the vast emptiness of space. The Valor floated among the scattered wreckage of the enemy fleet, its hull scarred but intact. The crew moved quietly, weary but victorious. Captain James stood beside the medical bay, watching as Princess Lyria rested. Her skin, once glowing bright, was now pale and soft, like a fading star. The warmth she shared had saved them all, but it had taken everything from her. James knelt by her side, holding her hand gently. "You gave us hope when there was none. You showed us the power of trust." Lyria opened her eyes slowly, a small smile touching her lips. "Humans and aliens. Together, we are stronger than any darkness." The crew gathered around, their faces tired but filled with gratitude. They no longer saw Lyria as just an alien princess, but as a friend, a symbol of hope. But beyond the stars, something stirred. A faint signal pulsed from the far edges of the galaxy, a message wrapped in shadows and mystery. Lieutenant Maya looked at James. "Captain, this signal. It's not from any known source." James nodded, a new determination burning in his eyes. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Lyria's voice was soft but clear. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy is bigger than we know, and so is our fight." As the Valor set course for the unknown, the crew prepared for whatever challenges awaited. In the darkness, a new dawn was rising. Asterisk.